In today's video, I want to give you guys a big update on a highly anticipated PlayStation 4 Jrpg. However, it's a game that I was hoping would be released this year or early 2020, but I don't think we're going to get our hands on the game for quite a while. On top of that, Remedy has detailed what we can expect out of Control, specifically in terms of how much content we can expect out of the game. Now, I've been speaking a little bit about the title, and I've always been saying that this is a game that's probably going to be a little bit shorter of an experience. It is single-player focused, and given what Remedy has put out in the past with Alan Wake and Quantum Break, those games aren't really sizable adventures, but in the case of Control, I'm not saying that this game is going to be content filled to the max. However, it does look like it's going to have a relatively decent amount of content. We'll talk that, and also Travis Strikes Again No More Heroes Complete Edition is launching October 17th. The former Nintendo Switch exclusive is now making its way to the PlayStation 4. Now, this isn't No More Heroes 3, but it is something, and I do want to give you guys the heads up on that game as well, as it's something to be noted of. Okay, first up, Granblue Fantasy Relink is a JRPG that I am looking forward to so much. It is coming from Games. Their Osaka studio is working on the title, and I've been waiting on this game for quite a while. I talked about this game when it originally got announced, I believe back in early 2018, and I remember I saw the comment section for that video, and a lot of you guys were captivated by the game, and you were like, man, I want to get my hands on the game ASAP. Now, we heard that Games were working on it initially, and then we also knew that Platinum Games had some input on the title. Platinum Games has since moved away from the project, but you'd have to think they put a lot of work into the game, and a lot of their fundamentals that they put in place are going to be sticking around with the project. Well, now the question remains, when are we going to actually hear more about the game? Well, today Games hosted its traditional summer broadcast dedicated to the Granblue Fantasy franchise, and they shared when we'll hear more about the upcoming action JRPG Granblue Fantasy Relink. Unfortunately, there was actually no big reveal at the stream itself, but they did reveal that a new announcement will be made in December at the Granblue Festival. Now, yes, that is a long ways away, and that really opens the floodgates into the speculation on when we're actually going to see this game. Pretty much 2019 is completely off the table, given that they're going to reveal more information come December, and by the time they reveal information at December, 2020 is going to be rolling around, and then we're on to the new year. Well, what I do have to expect is I imagine a release date has to come at this event. We do not need to see more gameplay of this game. We don't need to hear an update that isn't substantial. We need a release window at the very least, and I imagine that we are going to get a release window come this Granblue Festival. I imagine at a festival like this, you want to drop the big information, and anything short of a release date or a release window would be very disappointing. My speculation is that the game will be dropping spring 2020 in Japan, and hopefully we'll get it pretty quickly thereafter over here in the States, whether it be summer 2020, fall 2020. This is the type of game, it being a JRPG, the PlayStation 5 really doesn't even matter that it's being released. JRPGs is one of those genres that even if a next generation platform is released, usually it will stick around with the existing platform, the established platform, whatever the case may be. And it's not like Granblue Fantasy is this gigantic Western big budget game. Those are generally the games where you do see that shift from one platform to the other. You generally don't see that with these more niche JRPGs. I mean, it was the case with Persona 5 where that game became cross-gen, and Final Fantasy 15 of course transitioned from a PS3 game to a PlayStation 4 game. But Final Fantasy 15 obviously had a much bigger story attached to it. So Granblue Fantasy Relink, more information on that is coming December. If you guys don't know what this game is, it's a part of the Granblue Fantasy universe. However, this one is a big budget JRPG. It's got an incredible art style. I think that's the element of this game that's captivating to me the most. It's got this really cool watercolor look to it, and it's got an incredible staff working on the game as well. You've got Nobu Uematsu as well as artist Hideo Manaba. Again, hopefully we'll see some concrete information about the game come December, but at this point, still gonna have to wait a little bit longer until we see the official release. Okay, moving on from that, Control is a game that I am incredibly excited for. When I made the notion that I would recommend you guys to wait for a sale on, it seems like a lot of you guys push back on me for that. I get it, you'll want to support the game, and I'm all for supporting single-player experiences, but just thinking about it from a financial standpoint and how to save the most money you can, am I expecting that Control is gonna go on sale quickly after its release? Yes, that was what I was trying to get across in those videos, but nonetheless, it is a game that I personally am so looking forward to because I've played Remedy's previous games. Keep in mind that I dropped a full $60 on Alan Wake on the Xbox 360 when a lot of people didn't, and one of the main issues with that game was from a content standpoint. I thought the single-player campaign was awesome, and it was a really exhilarating experience. However, it was only 6 to 7 hours long, and for a $60 game, that was a little bit of a bummer to a lot of people, and many would point that to be the reason why that game game didn't sell as well. Well, it looks like Control is not going to have the same issue. It was noted that the game is going to be relatively lengthy. Remedy's Control will actually take roughly 20 hours to beat if players explore and complete side missions, so this game is going to have side content attached to it. And it was noted in an interview with IGN Communications director Thomas Pua spoke about the game, and he said this, quote, "It's difficult to give you an accurate answer because it really depends on the player and how meticulously you play the game. Control is just not a linear game. Though you can just focus on the campaign missions, on average we've seen it take 10 to 15 hours to get through the campaign, but if you replay it a few times and know what you are doing, of course you can get through it a lot faster. So if you naturally play the game, probably 10 to 15 hours. I'm always a little bit skeptical with that time period when they say 10 to 15 hours. I generally complete games a little bit quicker, but sometimes I do rush games. So let's say it's around 10 to 15 hours, and then if you do take advantage of all of the side content, and it was noted that the game is also set to receive 2 expansions and other content post-launch that will also increase playtime, so all of that does have to be taken into account. A game like this having a couple expansions, a little bit of a bummer, but Alan Wake also had expansions. I mean, the majority of single-player games these days do see expansions at some point. We saw expansions with Metro Exodus, The Witcher 3, I could go on and on. I feel like more games have DLC and expansions than games that don't, but nonetheless, Control will be dropping August 27th. Thankfully, now it is really the only major game that's releasing on that date. Before, it had to go head-to-head with games like Shenmue 3, but that was pushed back. Control is really going to be the major release on that day, and again, I'm incredibly excited for the game. I'm hoping it does really well, but if we just look at it from the track record of Remedy releases, Alan Wake went on sale pretty quickly. Quantum Break, from a financial standpoint, didn't do that well, but that was an Xbox exclusive, later ported to PC. We'll see how Control does as it's being released for all platforms. And do keep in mind, from a Remedy and 505 Games, the publisher standpoint, they've got an exclusive agreement with the Epic Game Store, so financially, they're probably going to do pretty well since they're getting a ton of upfront money from them, and hopefully it sells well on Xbox One, it sells well on PlayStation 4, who knows how it'll do on PC, given that it won't be released on Steam right away, but nonetheless something to note as well. And lastly, I do want to give you guys a heads up on Travis Strikes Again No More Heroes Complete Edition. That is dropping October 17th. Now, this game was already released on the Nintendo Switch, but now it's making the transition to the PlayStation 4, and Travis Strikes Again is not your traditional No More Heroes game. Rather, it's more of a quirky, adventurous action-adventure title. It's still a pretty unique little game. It wasn't received all too well, definitely not at the level of the No More Heroes titles, but Travis Strikes Again No More Heroes Complete Edition features previously released DLC and improved high-definition visuals for the PlayStation 4. Beam Katana in hand, slice and dice through a variety of game worlds, then square up to the boss at the end of each game. Several years after No More Heroes 2 Desperate Struggle, Travis is living his best life in a trailer in the American South. The open air, absolute freedom, and plenty of video games. What more could an otaku assassin want? That is until Badman, the father of Travis's past opponent Badgirl, shows up to exact revenge for Travis's role in her demise. During the ensuing battle, things go horribly wrong and the two are sucked into the Death Drive MK2, a legendary gaming console that plays games using mysterious objects known as death balls. It's said that collecting all 6 death balls and beating the games that they contain will grant the successful player one wish. Now Travis and Batman must put their differences aside, team up, and fight their way through several game worlds in a bid to gain that elusive wish, exterminating every last bug as they go. Okay, so the game is absolutely zany, absolutely wacky in premise, but that's kind of what we've come to expect out of Suda51, Grasshopper, and No More Heroes as a whole, so this is kind of right up our alley. No More Heroes 3 was, of course, officially announced, but at this point, it's a Nintendo Switch exclusive. Who knows if it'll ever make the transition to other platforms? That would be great to see, but for now, we do have Travis Strikes Again No More Heroes Complete Edition to look forward to. That will be dropping October 17th. Now, this is one I would definitely wait on a sale for. We don't have a price point confirmed for it, but if it's even released at $49.99, which I think is very likely, wait on a sale for this one. I would say at most be paying $30, ideally around $20 would be a really good buy at that point, and do expect a more zany and wacky experience. I imagine you guys all got that idea based on the description of the game. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, we're not gonna hear more about Granblue Fantasy Relink for quite a while, not until the Granblue Festival, which is running from December 13th until the 15th. Remedy's Control is gonna take around 10 to 15 hours to complete, probably 20 hours after we get the updates and expansions as well, so that is pretty exciting from that standpoint, and I imagine for those of you guys that are already excited on the game, you're already sold on it, but maybe if you're lukewarm about it from a content standpoint, that eases your mind a little bit. And Travis Strikes Again No More Heroes Complete Edition is hitting the PlayStation 4 on October 17th. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.